Edward David Gein was born on August 27, 1906 in La Crosse, Wisconsin, the son of George, a timid alcoholic father, and Augusta, a hardcore religious mother who saw sin and filth everywhere. Ed grew up alongside his older brother Henry in a household ruled by his mother's insane preachings about the sins of lust and desire. They were taught that they were completely worthless. When Augusta wasn't verbally abusing the children, she was abusing her husband. Besides this, or maybe because of this, Ed began to idolize her. In 1915, Augusta moved in from La Crosse to Plainfield, Wisconsin, a tiny town in the heart of deer hunting country. The town can be summed up as flat, empty, and anonymous. From their secluded farmhouse, she taught the boys that women were creatures who corrupted men and defied Christ. The only time the boys were not isolated was to go to school, but they were not allowed to make friends. Despite this, Ed was described as intelligent, he was a feminist, and a little bit weird looking, but unfortunately this made him a bully's dream come true. After suffering from endless beatings, Ed graduated high school and never truly socialized ever again. On April 1st, 1940, George Philip Dean, the father, had succumbed to a heart attack, leaving the two boys in the hands of Augusta. Augusta continued to force how evil women were on the boys. Well, not boys anymore, they were men. So Henry took it upon himself, as he was 30-something years old, he took it upon himself to fight his mother and marry a divorced woman with 2 kids. Even tried to convince Ed to side with him, but he did not, and Augusta had to announce Henry. In the winter of 1944, a fire broke out on the farthest reaches of the farm. Ed was found in a state of agitation, claiming his older brother had vanished in the blaze. He was found laying face down with a blow to the back of the head. But what also was crazy to me is that Ed was able to lead police directly to the body after claiming his brother vanished and he did not know where he was. Despite this, the coroner recorded his death by smoke inhalation, and Ed was never questioned about this. After Henry's death from late 1944 to 1945, Edward and Augusta lived in complete isolation. They did not interact with anyone. They stayed in the house, and the only thing they did was cultivate their already toxic relationship with each other. The only significant thing that happened to them that year was the fact that they made a road trip outside to buy straw from a man named Smith. At Smith's house, the duo witnessed him beat a dog nearly to death, while an unknown woman begged him from stop. And weirdly enough, the only thing that made Augusta livid was the fact that the woman was not his wife, weirdly enough. And it continued her teachings to Ed that women were evil and corrupted men. His mother's teachers would not last any longer than that, because on December 29, 1945, a second stroke took Augusta to her final resting place. Ed's response to this was to seal off her room, leaving it completely the way it was before she died, not touching a single thing ever. After his mother's death in 1945, by 1946, he had completely descended into madness. He began becoming obsessed with horror novels and pornography. He ordered Nazi medical experiment books. He learned female anatomy, and he even went as far as to teach himself taxidermy. And by 1947, something in him completely snapped, and he began robbing the graves of women that were buried in Plainfield Cemetery. In the heart of the night, he would steal these women's heads, hearts, intestines, and genitals, and then he would return them later on. It is estimated that he robbed over 40 women from cemeteries across the state, and by the 1950s, he stopped returning the bodies to the tombs, and he would drag the bodies back to his secluded farmhouse, and he would begin practice and perfecting his craft of taxidermy on their bodies. Despite continuously descending into madness in private, in public he was a semi-functioning normal citizen to others. He would take old handyman jobs across Plainfield, and he would even go as far as babysitting these people's kids. And by 1954, the nearly 50-year-old Ed Gein was now a prolific grave robber, a potential cannibal, and a taxidermist. But seemingly enough, he did not descend into a serial killer until later on. But it's been speculated that Gein was killing way before 1954 and that he's connected to many missing person cases. But the state refused to investigate his case anymore and refused to spend any more money on him. Ed Gein's crimes unfolded over a period of several years, beginning in the early 1950s. His actions escalated gradually, starting with grave robbing, as I mentioned before, and eventually accumulating into murder. As I said before, Ed was suspected to be connected to a few residents in the area that had mysteriously disappeared over the years, and one of those residents was Mary Hogan, who ran a tavern in a nearby Pine Grove that Gein regularly frequented. The 50-year-old woman disappeared on December 8, 1954. Gein later admitted to murder her during his interrogation. Gein shot Mary Hogan with a .32 caliber pistol, and then he took her body to his farmhouse where he dissected her remains. His second known victim was 58-year-old Bernice Worden, and on November 16, 1957, she was reported missing from her hardware store in Plainfield. The cash register was also gone, and a blood trail was let out the back. Her son Frank, a sheriff deputy, was suspicious of Gein, and Ed had been seen with her shortly after her disappearance. It was said that Gein entered Warden's store and shot her with a .22 caliber rifle. He then dragged her body out to his farm. After killing Warden, Gein mutilated her body. He decapitated her and hung her body upside down by her heels and gutted her like a deer. He removed her heart and other organs with the intention to use them for his morbid collection. Due to Warden's son reporting her missing, Bernice Warden's disappearance prompted law enforcement to visit Gein's farmhouse in Plainfield, Wisconsin. When officers arrived at Gein's property, they were met with a surreal scene. Inside Gein's farmhouse, they discovered Warden's decapitated body hanging from the rafters of his shed, gutted like a deer and dressed out. The grisly discovery shocked and horrified the responding officers. Human remains found at Gein's property included skulls, bones, and preserved body parts. Gein's home yielded further evidence also, such as Mary Hogan's preserved head. Gein's collection of human skin artifacts, including a woman's suit made from the skin of his victims. Gein was promptly arrested and taken into custody, and during questioning, he confessed not only to Warden's murder, but also to the killing of Mary Hogan several years earlier. Given the gruesome nature of Gein's crimes and the overwhelming evidence against him, the justification for sentencing him to prison was clear. However, due to his diagnosed mental illnesses, Gein was found not guilty by reason of sanity. Instead of being sent to a traditional prison, Gein was committed to the Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane in Waupun, Wisconsin. Here he underwent psychiatric treatment and remained until his death decades later in 1984. Ed Gein exhibited both traits of sociopathy and psychopathy, but based on his behavior and characteristics, he more closely aligns with psychopathy. Psychopathy is characterized by a lack of empathy, shallow emotions, manipulative behavior, and a tendency towards violence. Gein displayed a profound disconnect from societal norms, engaging in acts of grave robbing, necrophilia, murder, without remorse or empathy for his victims. It is speculated that certain areas of Ed Gein's brain, particularly those associated with empathy, impulse control, and moral reasoning, may have not functioned properly according to societal norms. Studies have shown abnormalities in the amygdala, prefrontal cortex, and anterior cingulate cortex among psychopaths, which could contribute to their lack of empathy and impulse control. Analyzing Ed Gein's crimes, it is likely concluded that he exhibited signs of severe mental illness, including schizophrenia and paraphilia. His obsession with his deceased mother, coupled with his bizarre acts of grave robbing and necrophilia, suggested a profound detachment from reality and a warped sense of morality. Ed Gein's mental illness manifested itself in various ways in his daily life. He lived an isolated existence on his family's farm, avoiding social interaction and exhibiting odd behaviors. He was known to frequent local cemeteries where he would dig up graves and collect body parts. His fixation on his deceased mother led him to create a woman suit made from skin of his victims, which he would wear in an attempt to become his mother. While Ed Gein's specific case predates modern psychiatric treatment, several interventions could have potentially prevented him from developing into a serial killer. Early intervention for schizophrenia, including medication and therapy, may have helped manage his symptoms and prevent him from escalating into violent behavior. Additionally, targeted therapy to address his paraphilic interest and obsession with his mother could have helped him develop healthier coping mechanisms and reduce the risk of acting on his impulses. Serial killers have long captured the collective imagination, serving as both objects of horror and fascination in pop culture. Among these infamous figures, Ed Gein occupies a unique place, his crimes and psychological profile influencing countless works of literature, film, and media. I would delve into the reasons behind society's enduring fascination with serial killers, with a particular focus on Ed Gein, my serial killer, and explore the profound influence he has had on our cultural landscape. I'm going to pose the question, why are we so fascinated with serial killers? Well, the allure of serial killers lies in their ability to embody the darkest depths of human depravity. Ed Gein, with his macabre acts of grave robbing, murder, and necrophilia, epitomizes this grotesque fascination. Psychologically, the allure may stem from morbid curiosity about the workings of the human mind and the boundaries of morality. Serial killers challenge our understanding of human nature, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable reality that such monstrous individuals exist among us. Furthermore, the media's sensationalized portrayal of serial killers contributes to their mystique. True crime documentaries, books, television series often delve into their lurid details of their crimes, presenting them as larger-than-life figures whose actions defy comprehension. Ed Gein's case, with its elements of horror and perversion, has become the stuff of legend, perpetuating his notoriety long after his crimes were committed. Ed Gein's crimes have inspired numerous works of literature and film, serving as the basis for iconic characters such as Norman Bates in Psycho and Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. These fictionalized portrayals draw upon the gruesome details of Gein's crimes, amplifying the horror for audiences. True crime podcasts, documentaries, and television series have further fueled society's fascination with Ed Gein and other serial killers. Shows like Mindhunter and American Horror Story Hotel explore the psychological underpinnings of serial murder, providing audiences with a voyeuristic glimpse into minds of killers. Ed Gein's likeness and story have been commodified through merchandise and memorabilia, with items ranging from t-shirts featuring his mugshot to replicas of his infamous woman suit. These products blur the line between macabre fascination and outright commercialization, reflecting society's morbid curiosity. Online forums, subreddits, and fan communities dedicated to true crime provide a platform for enthusiasts to discuss and dissect Ed Gein's case in many detail. The internet has facilitated a global community of true crime fans who eagerly exchange theories and analysis about notorious cases like Ed's. Overall, Ed Gein's legacy serves as a chilling reminder of the enduring fascination with serial killers within pop culture. Through his crimes and their subsequent portrayal in media and literature, Gein has become an undeniable figure within the true crime community. By examining the influence of Ed Gein and other serial killers on pop culture, we gain insight in society's complex relationship with violence, horror, and the darker aspects of the human psyche.
What did you intend to do with her body? What parts would you take off? Who helped you when you got him out of the grave? Would you enjoy it while you were doing it?
I really didn't think.